Hey fellas, how you doing? It's Johnny Berba. In this video I'm going to talk about how to be a real man and how to love yourself. This video, I was actually inspired to do this video based on a number of events that I've experienced over the coming 2 weeks, kind of 2 weeks, well I say 2 weeks. 2 weeks has brought some of the ideas I'm going to talk about in this video to my attention, but this is something I've personally applied, and this is how I've become what I consider to be a man who loves himself. And I want to teach you, I want to share with you in this video the things I've done. I'm going to explain the things I've done. I'm also going to explain the times when I went wrong and why I went wrong, and what I see with other men that are going wrong. I see these common mistakes in some of the guys I work with on my 6 weeks program. When they first come to me, they have a list of concerns, problems, complaints and so forth. And this is the advice I'm going to be giving you in this video is not easy to do. It's not easy advice. It's not quick fix. You're not going to enter your email and get an instant solution. That's why it's very valuable. So it's very important, if you want to learn and you want to grow and you want to become a man in your own right and love yourself, it's very important that you listen to this video. And like all my videos, I don't plan these videos. I'm just going to share the concept, and I'm going to let the energy flow and see what we get to, see what solution we come up with. So the whole idea for me came from personally suffering with social anxiety, low self-esteem and depression, anxiety and unhappiness, and all those things that make you suffer, make you unhappy. Struggling with women, struggling in my life with finances, and really struggling with the trauma that I experienced in my life from childhood, the trauma that I experienced from my father growing up, abusive relationship, trauma that I experienced from being around a negative environment, bullying, having lots of fights, always being afraid pretty much all the time, having real difficulties trusting people, whether that's women, fellow man, and really struggling with the concept of being a man, really misunderstanding what it is to be a man. I would say almost underestimating, because I thought being a man was just being strong in the sense of violence, because that was an area that I was quite capable at the time. But I knew deep down there was a lot more to being a man than that, because I wasn't happy. And what is more important in life than being happy? Happiness is the most important thing, isn't it? So for many part of my years, I don't know if that made sense, sorry. For most part of my life, sorry, I was very angry young man. I was full of anger. A lot of it I hid, or I just sort of buried it, but it was here on my chest, and it was on my mind, stories and thoughts. And I was angry about the way life treated me. I was angry about the way my father treated me. I felt life had been really tough on me. I thought my upbringing had let me down. I thought the school I went to, you know, it wasn't justified the way the teachers treated me. I thought the educational system was lacking. I blamed everything. I blamed everyone. I even blamed my friends. I blamed my friends for holding me back, for judging me, for making me feel that I'm not worth anything, that I'm no good. Huge anger, huge resentment. But I failed to recognise at the time, not anymore, because I've learnt this lesson. I failed to recognise the most important thing, what it is to be a man. It just came to me today. I thought, wow, in a punchline, one word. Taking responsibility for your shit. I remember my nan saying to me, and my father, no one owes you a living. I never used to like that saying when I was younger, because I used to kind of think in my own psyche somewhere, I felt life owed me something, because I'd suffered so much in my life. It felt like everywhere I went, I suffered. Whether it was getting bullied at school, whether it was being bullied at home by my dad, whether it's being bullied by my mum telling me to clean my room, whether it's being bullied at the school teachers at school, whether it was my friends who I felt were making snide remarks or they weren't respecting me, whether it was being bullied on the football pitch. I felt bullied everywhere I went, and even when I bullied back, I still had horrible feelings because I didn't take responsibility for my own shit. And my own shit is your own shit. We all go through hardship and shit. Our story, like Les Brown says, no one gets out of life alive. I like to use the analogy, no one goes in the boxing ring without taking a few punches. You don't get punched in the boxing ring and, well, some boxers actually do and start complaining to a referee that you got punched. You're in a ring, it's inevitable. So in life, when we're born and we go through certain experiences, I have to remind myself this, it's inevitable that we're going to get a few bumps and bruises. People are going to upset us. Relationships are going to break down. Our own expectations, a lot of the times, are not going to be met because the expectations are unrealistic, or the intentions or the motives that we set for these expectations are not in line with who we truly are. They're not our intentions, they're what we think we should be achieving according to a society that is maybe, I don't even know. So, many years of suffering. Now, I'm going to go off topic for a second because I want to explain it. I'm in the moment now, I'm really present with this. One of the most unmanliest things I've seen, that's very trivial, very petty, but it's a big deal. It's a really big deal, is men who criticize other people at the cost of their own error or their own insecurities. A great place that's taught me a lot, it's a medium that I absolutely love, by the way, is YouTube. Now, I've never been particularly surprised or really overly sensitive towards criticism. Of course, I'm putting my material, I'm putting myself out to the whole world. I'm quite surprised how much love I get, considering my message is very powerful. It's quite a controversial message. And, you know, I'm going into a niche that is not easy. Social anxiety, personal development, spirituality. This is a very sensitive subject because we've all got our own ideas on how we should socialize, how we should communicate, what is right, what is wrong morally. So I'm putting myself out there. I'm taking responsibility for my own shit. My own shit was my social anxiety, my own insecurities and my upbringing. I was mad about that. I was furious. I wanted you guys to give me an apology. When I say you guys, I mean the world. I wanted my family, I wanted my friends. I wanted life itself to come down and say, I'm sorry we've treated you so bad, and give me a hug. And I don't know, and just kind of give me a nice life. But as I got more experience in life and I met other men, some really great men, really courageous men, men that were really strong, when I got to know them and heard what they've been through, I thought, fucking hell, they've been through a lot, man. My life isn't as bad as I thought. I'm still alive, I'm still healthy. I'm not the worst looking guy, I'm not a bad looking guy. I've got my health, I can get around. I've got talents, I've got an opportunity to turn my life around. There's 24 hours in a day, no one's holding me down and handcuffing me. Although I did get arrested by the police when I was 19, that's another story for another day. So when I see grown men writing hate on YouTube under my videos, not even my videos, I see it on other people, other YouTubers that are really good, straight away I know that they're not taking responsibility for their own shit. Criticism is a very low vibrational way of being. It's a very small place to be at for a grown man. I've never gone on YouTube and criticised people. I've always been better than that. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. I've done some really bad things. But I've always kind of had that masculine strength to take responsibility for my own shit. And that's why I'm in this position. because I could have easily blamed you guys, because I was doing that for many years prior to getting in this position. But I'm not going to say the cheesy line, I decided one day, but I did decide one day. I decided one day that enough was enough. Despite how my father treated me, despite how so many friends let me down and betrayed me, and I gave money out, I gave my time, and they didn't return it, I realised that I'm going to take responsibility for this. All this anger I've got, all this energy, all this frustration, all this feeling of injustice, I'm actually going to turn this in. I'm going to look at myself and I'm going to actually do what I can. And interestingly enough, when I said that, it was fucking empowering, because I thought to myself, I can actually do a hell of a lot. I don't really have to worry about negative friends, because at the time I was a very negative person myself. That's why I was around them. I couldn't stand being around them, but I couldn't stand being around myself. I hated the fact that they kept bad-mouthing people, but I also hated the fact that I kept bad-mouthing people. I hated the fact that I had one friend that used to go on YouTube and criticize people and get involved in forums. I used to think to myself, why is he doing that for? I didn't say nothing too much for what, but I was around that. So then it dawned on me, I thought, I want to make new friends. I want to be around positive people. I want to be around people that I love. I want to be around people that I can trust. I want to have my own money. I don't want to have to borrow money from my mum and my dad and my nan, and these are all my family that I love. I want to have my self-respect. So my thinking started to change in regards to what it is to be a man. I thought, a woman's not going to take me serious. In fact, I'm not going to take myself serious. I want to get my self-respect back. As a matter of fact, for many years I thought, what does it feel like to have self-respect? What does it feel like to love yourself? What does it feel like to have integrity? What does it feel like to be able to say to yourself when you go to sleep at night, I'm a man, I'm taking responsibility, I've been through a lot, but I'm using my turmoil and I'm becoming an alchemist. This is alchemy. I'm using pain, trauma, and I'm turning it into something beautiful. I'm actually doing the same with my body, my spirit, and my mind, and my whole being. I'm actually going from hating myself to loving who I am, because the way I'm living my life, I'm taking responsibility. So I'm using my pain as a motivation. I'm using people that criticize me as motivation. I'm not going to join them at their level. That's why when people criticize me on YouTube, it's very, very rare I respond to it. It's very rare. Unless it's constructive and it's true, I'll say thanks and I appreciate that. So a few people might say something about my hair and I'll say that's true, my hair is a bit dodgy. Or they might say my appearance, so I went and styled myself up. So that's when criticism is constructive. But when it's really silly stuff about, oh, women don't like me and women are bad and it's because of my height, just excuse making. I'm sorry, but I've been through too much in my life and I've seen how wonderful life can be if we take responsibility. And these are all men that are not taking responsibility. It doesn't matter that you got bullied at school. I got bullied at school. We've all been bullied at school. It doesn't matter that you're a virgin. That's not my problem. That's not anyone's problem. That's your problem. Can't blame women. It's too easy to blame women. Too many men blame women, and too many women blame men, and too many people blame people. But no one wants to take responsibility. But in saying that, there's a lot of people that are taking responsibility. You're talking to a person right now. You're talking to a man who went through fucking adversity. You're talking to a man who came from a council estate where it was full of violence and distrust and darkness and despair, but also some good times as well. You're talking to someone that was told he'd be nothing at school and would be a dustman, sweeping the street, and there's nothing wrong with that. You're talking to someone that was not respected growing up, that had people laugh at him. You're talking to someone that didn't used to like himself. But I took responsibility for my shit and I changed it around. And the people that I see taking responsibility are the brave men that work with me on my 6-week transformation program. These men have got to a stage where they realise the only problem is them. The events that happen to them in their life are just events. Some of them are unfortunate and things were uncalled for. A violent father, an abusive mother, an abusive brother, an abusive sister, an abusive household. But at the end of the day, you're going to live your whole life a victim. You're going to allow that abuse to destroy you when you can do the opposite. What do great men do? Great men use their disposition to do massive, amazing, wonderful things. Look at the great men in history. Look at the story of all these wonderful boxers that we watch. Look at the Mike Tysons. Look at the Sugar Ray Leonards, the Rocky Marcianos, the Jack Dempseys, the Floyd Mayweathers. These men came from shit. They came from poverty. They came from pain. A lot of them came from broken homes. They become millionaires. What a fucking excuse do you have to complain and cry, be a baby? Because you've got some social anxiety. I had it too. I had it horrendously. I couldn't even come out of my flat. But I thought, I'm not going to be a victim no more. There's too many excuses. There's about 1 billion excuses, but there's only one true way to take responsibility for your actions. I even got to a stage where I thought, even though people that have been horrible to me, I'm going to forgive them. I'm going to dissolve them out of my whole reality and my existence. I'm going to work on myself so hard. I'm going to work on every single flaw that I have. There's things about myself that I hated. I hated the people pleasing me. I hated the violent side of me that was irrational and just psychotic. I thought, oh, I need to get rid of this guy. I don't like him. And I started to look for the things in myself that I loved. And one of the things that I really love about myself, and you guys should be finding this in yourself as well, I'm a very dedicated, brave, courageous man who never quits. I'll say that again because it might hit a nerve in you. We might relate. I'm a very brave, courageous man who never quits. Like all men, I've got fear, but I don't allow my fear to keep me trapped. I don't allow my fear to be racist. I don't allow my fear to judge people. I don't allow my fear for me to shift the blame and blame women or anyone else. So commenting on YouTube videos, you've got a long way to climb because you're not even close to being a man. I'm just trying to help you out here. You're a boy. Grown men going on the internet writing under videos. And the question I'd ask you, would you say that to the person's face if you was with them? Of course you wouldn't. That's why you go behind the keyboard. But what I do is I don't engage in it. And this is one of the things I want to recommend to any of you watching this video. If you've got people in life criticizing you, the more you feed into their criticism and you join them on that low vibration, you'll start manifesting that in your life, which is not good. You'll start feeding your old story, the story that says, I'm not good enough, I'm ashamed, I'd hate the thought of people being able to read my mind and actually know how I think about myself and how I think about the world. I'm full of hate, I'm full of doubt, I'm full of jealousy. You can change that story. I am living proof. My students live in proof. Millions of human beings are living proof. This inspired me. I got so excited when I heard this. I cried. I fucking complained a bit like we all do in my bedroom many times. But I got off my fucking backside, as my dad would say, and I went outside and I grabbed the balls between my legs. This is my dad saying, I like it. I grabbed my bollocks between my legs and I said, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's go to war. Let's have a look at this monster. Let's start facing it. What can go wrong? What could be worse than this? And eventually things started to get better. I started to find myself. I thought, fucking hell, I'm not an ugly duckling who's terrified of women. I'm terrified of women, but I'm not an ugly duckling. I'm quite charming. And I started to improve with women. I started to feel better. I started to change my state. Of course, when we change the environment in ourselves, we change the environment outside. We're no longer sitting down in a small room playing Nintendo, gossiping with friends how bad life is and how women can't be trusted. All of a sudden, we're on a date with a beautiful woman who can be trusted. We are changing our whole reality. And then we're starting to feel different about ourselves. And then it's funny because when you start feeling good about yourself, you're not bothered about the criticism. You actually move into a higher frequency, a higher state of consciousness where you think, I don't even mind these people criticizing me. You feel sorry for them. You feel sorry for them, you feel bad because you recognize that they're not in a good place. You've not even got the energy to respond, you're not even worried. So that's how I view it when people write on my videos, criticism. It's not that I'm ignorant of constructive criticism because there's loads of things I need to learn. But all the hateful stuff and the really grimy trolling stuff, I just don't respond to it. But I'm going beyond YouTube criticism. I see so many people not taking responsibility. And when I say these type of men, because I'm not being all horrible and snobby and guru-like, because I used to be like this myself. So I'm an expert in becoming, in transcending from this man into the new man, as it says in the Bible. These type of men are liars. Liars, cheats, thieves, dishonest, and got no balls between their legs. I'm speaking metaphorically in the sense that choosing not to be a man. And these are usually the men that point fingers at other men and question their manhood, because really, realistically, on a very honest, serious understanding, they know that they're not men, they're struggling. They're angry, they're hateful, and they're projecting their hate out onto other people who are doing well. Excuse me. So, I just, this is how I define, when I say being a man, because if you're not being a man, you're still a man, but I mean taking responsibility, it's very attractive. It's literally character building. You could, right now, you could switch my video off, please wait to the end, and you could say, right, I've had enough, I'm taking responsibility. I'm going to add a second one. You're not going to like this, it's tough shit, because I want to help you. Because I'm in a real kind of serious, straight mood. I'm in a good mood, I'm at peace. Being a man is facing fear. You can't be a man and not face fear. As men, we have a duty to face fear. We have a certain amount of fear we need to face. I see it as a responsibility. I see that God or life or circumstances gives us fear, not to test us, not to bully us, not to be hard on us, to grow us and make us better men, to make us great men, to make us wonderful, to make us beautiful, to make us be vulnerable but be strong. And we're given this gift. We're given this gift at birth when we're born, and we experience things. And some of our fears are passed on by our family, by our fathers, our mothers, our ancestors, our friends, men that have lived centuries before, great men, great leaders, people that are in our family tree. If you go back and you look at your ancestors, there'll be great men somewhere down the line your tree. But we have a responsibility to go out and to face our fear. And I want to be straight with you. And I know there's women watching this video. Women are very attracted to men who face their fear, because women are not stupid. All of the movies that we love, that inspire me and make me shiver and go cold and feel love and passion like Braveheart, the women are attracted to the characteristics of a man. You get so many men squealing about looks. It's not the looks, it's a man's heart and a man's character. So it's the actions of a man that define him. It's easy to sit down behind someone's back and to slag them off and to say this and that. It's interesting because I'm going to give you a very small example, because I'm in a manly type of mood. This is congruent to how I feel today. I had someone, I don't know who it was, comment on my video and say they thought they didn't like my message, and if they was to see me they would to harm me and slap me. So I said, that's interesting, come and meet me in person, let's have a coffee. Let's have a chat. If you're gonna do that, I'd like to give you the opportunity to do that. Now, I wasn't saying that in a threatening way. I was just saying, let's be men, let's talk about it, because I've never met you before. This person knows who I am, I've never met this person. I'll give them an opportunity to come meet me. Maybe him meeting me would change his life, because I'll tell him some home truths. And I gave him the address, but he didn't show up. So how I was raised as a man, if you say you're gonna do something, you back it up. Now this video is not at all about violence. My message is about love. I've completely transcended from violence, but I'm making a point and example of the difference between being a man and not being a man. Speaking with the tongue is one thing, but backing out with action is completely different. Do you know how I learned these lessons? Because when I was younger and I got bullied on the estate and I was terrified and petrified and shy but angry, I'd come home and tell my dad, or he'd see it on my face, say, what happened? I'd say, a guy bullied me. He'd say, right, get your jacket on, we're going to fight him now. I was afraid, a lot of me didn't want to do it, but I had to do it. I'm not advocating violence. I'm not advocating me and my dad being violent. I'm just saying I was a man since I was a kid. I was admirable. And I'm not saying by any means violence solves it. Violence isn't good. But I'm saying it takes a man to face his fear. So when my dad walked me down in the tower block we lived in, out into the open, and there was a whole estate watching, and he said, "You're going to fight this kid one-on-one, it's going to be fair, Queensby rules." I had the courage to do that. Win, lose or draw, it made no difference. I was facing my fear. That was the template for me facing my future fears, my social anxiety, setting up a business, becoming successful in my business, going from job seekers allowance, minimum wage, having no education at school, because I've got a first degree, a first honours in facing fear and taking responsibility. And every time I take responsibility, I feel so much love, so much joy, so much humbleness, compassion, understanding. Just the movement of taking responsibility, whether you get the result or not, is irrelevant. These are, I'm going to say it again, this is the characteristics of a man. All the men that I look up to, the spiritual men, the more softer men, in some way, I'm using the word soft in the context of their personality, but they're very strong men. That's why we're drawn to them. But I find a lot of the times, a lot of men who criticize other men, they are putting the blame onto other men because they can't deal with their own shortcomings or insecurities. Insecurities and fears are blessings. God blesses us with our insecurities, or nature or life itself. The way we become secure is by facing our insecurities and making that insecurity, it's no longer an insecurity, so therefore you become secure. How could I go from being insecure, 21-year-old virgin, anxious, to where I am now, 32, I've got a little bit less hair, I'm a bit insecure about my hair falling out. But I faced my fear, I took responsibility. I transformed my whole life. Very inspiring what I did. I can say that because I didn't believe in me. And I was divided. I had many personalities all going, which one of you is going to help us out? All scared. But I had something deeper underneath, something that knew I could do it. I wasn't worried about what people said about me. I got to a stage where I was more concerned about what I thought about myself. People's opinions about me, they had no value anymore. Like I said, I was willing to die to get my own self-respect. Someone said to me the other day, pride is very bad. I'm not so sure, maybe it's not. Maybe it's good to have pride. Integrity is very important. At the moment we don't respect ourselves as men, no one else will. The reality is, and the truth is, your friends won't respect you if you don't respect you. I won't respect you if you don't respect you. And I don't want to feel that way. Because I'm not this type of person. I'm a loving man. I'm very soft. But I'm strong too. And I won't respect you if you don't respect you. Because you wouldn't want me to respect you. So how is a woman going to respect a man who writes comments on YouTube and cries to the world? She's not going to respect that. You're going to have no chance. However you see this, I always say to people, there's no competition but yourself. There are billions of women in the world. There are millions of pounds out there for you to make money. You can if you want, but blaming people and making accusations about who's bad, who's stealing, you're the thief. You're the thief. Because you can't even handle responsibility of your own fears and insecurities. You're passing them on to other people and attacking them. You're the thief. Because you're trying to steal people's light instead of developing your own light, letting it come through. All men are born equal. All men are born equal. So you can talk as much as you want about being an alpha male, whatever that idea means to you. But if you're commenting on videos and you're attacking people, you're not even close to an alpha male. You'll not be taken serious. And you're not respecting yourself. You're not having any self-respect. But I'm a very positive man. Took a lot to get it. We wasn't brought up that way. It wasn't the norm to be ambitious. But there's some contradiction in that. Because my dad was preparing me for this day, unconsciously. He always told me stories about great leaders. Always taught me about taking responsibility. To say, I didn't like it when he said it, it annoyed me. He made me do the washing up, he used to clip me around the head and I didn't like it, but Starting to appreciate it now as I've gotten older, because I'm realizing that life isn't easy, life's tough. Life is a motherfucker sometimes, that's the truth. A lot of people don't want to talk about this in gurus. They want to make it this enlightenment all sweet and rosy. But life is a motherfucker. Life is suffering. Buddha said life is suffering. Life is suffering. But not suffering in the sense that we think if we continue to not take responsibility. Taking responsibility is love. Taking responsibility is God. Taking responsibility is the kingdom within. Taking responsibility equals attraction, congruency, all these things. A woman wants a man to take responsibility. Taking responsibility is fucking empowering. I must hear this back to myself. There are no excuses, it's in you. I can't stop you, I'm encouraging you, I'm inspiring you. Pull your shit together. And when you take responsibility, the universe starts rewarding you. God starts rewarding you. I start rewarding you. Your friends start rewarding you. You start rewarding you, which is more important. How you feel about yourself is how you see your day. How you feel about yourself is how you see me. Make a decision. Are you going to be low vibration? Bitching and crying and squealing on YouTube and blaming women and your height and the amount of hair on your head and your education? Or are you going to say it was so fucked up but I'm going to make it beautiful, and bring yourself into a higher state of consciousness? For those of you who don't understand that, from a negative place to a positive place, and start taking action. And taking action doesn't fucking mean running up and down the street getting phone numbers. That's the boys club. That's just one fifth of the pie chart. It means every area. Got to get your shit together. You've got to tidy your room. You've got to wash your socks and pants out. You've got to start taking responsibility for your appearance. You've got to stop talking about your friends behind their back. You've got to get off your fucking ass and get a job. I'm talking to my old self right in the past just to stress a message to many other Jonathans that are out there and anyone who needs to hear it. You've got to stop blaming people. You've got to start writing down what you're afraid of and start facing it gradually. And don't even say to me it's difficult. I fucking know how difficult it is. That's why I'm here. Because of the difficulty. That's why I appreciate it. Don't say it takes time. Of course it takes time. You don't go in the garden and throw 2 seeds down and a plant grows in a day. You have to nurture it. Enjoy the process. Get used to suffering. It's part of it. There's so much beauty as well. There's so much fun. What are you prepared to do? Are you going to be a man? You're going to be a mouse. The power is in you. These are great words that I feel that I'm saying through me, my experience, but that I heard from other men like Les Brown. The power is in you. Les Brown used to say something I used to love. It used to rattle through every bone of my body. He said, it's possible. It's possible. I just keep saying it every day. It's possible. It's difficult, but it's possible. Create a beautiful story. Stop complaining. Love you and enjoy the process. Be a man. Take responsibility, and I promise you, you'll start feeling different about yourself. Your social anxiety will just vanish. You'll have an abundance of women. You'll have job opportunities, and all the hate and resentment and blame for everyone will start diminishing. You'll have no time to hate. You have too much time enjoying life, and you certainly won't be commenting on YouTube. You'll be writing me a love letter saying, "Thank you, Johnny. I'll see you next video. Enjoy the process."